Okay, so let's talk about angle relationships. So we're going to talk about this figure here on the right. And because of this statement right here, we know that line M right here is parallel to line N right here. And that's the way to note that these are parallel lines. Okay, so we know now a lot of angle relationships that exist in this figure. Okay, so let's just start looking at obtuse angles. And because we know that this is parallel lines here, we know that all the obtuse angles in this figure are equal. Okay, so let's start out with angle 1. So angle 1 right here is going to be equal to all the other obtuse angles in this figure. So I'm going to say angle 5. So angle 1 equals angle 5. Okay, so we know angle 1 and angle 5 are equal. We also see that angle 8 is an obtuse angle. So angle 1 equals angle 8. Okay, I know you're saying, hang on, Miss Whitaker, isn't angle 4 an obtuse angle? And you're right, angle 4 is. But we're going to list this down here. Angle 1 equals angle 4. Okay, so angle 1 and angle 4 are going to be vertical angles. And we're going to talk about those in a little bit. Okay, so now let's go on and name our acute angles. Okay, so let's start with angle 3. Okay, so we're going to list angle 3, and then we're going to find another acute angle and see what the relationship might be later. Okay, let's angle 6. So angle 6 is an acute angle. So angle 3 equals angle 6. Okay, and then we also have that angle 6 is acute, but we also have that angle 7 is acute. So angle 3 equals angle 7. Okay, and then again, angle 2 right here. Okay, so angle 3 equals angle 2, but I'm going to go list those in the vertical angles portion. Okay, so now we need to actually name these angles. And naming them is kind of the more difficult part, but it is very important. Okay, so let's look at angle 1 right here and angle 5. Okay, so if we're looking at those and we ask ourselves, are they inside the parallel lines in this portion in here, or are they outside here and here? Okay, and you're probably like, well, hang on. One is on the inside of the parallel lines and one's on the outside. And you're right. There's one relationship besides vertical angles that are the easy one, that one is on the inside of the parallel lines and one's on the outside. And that is corresponding angles. You can just write it as corresponding. So they're corresponding angles. They're going to have that matching corner right here. Okay? So if you literally just picked one up and shifted it down along that transversal, it would line up with angle 5. Okay? So let's look at angle 1 and angle 8. So we have now angle 1 and angle 8 that we're looking at. Okay? So these two right here. So now if we ask ourselves, are they on the inside or the outside, we can say that angle 1 is on the outside of the parallel lines and angle 8 is on the outside. So that means they're exterior angles. Okay? So now we can also say then, we have to ask ourselves, is it across from each other on this transversal? So are they on the opposite sides or on the same side? Okay, they're going to be on the opposite side because 1 is on like the left-hand side and 8 is on the right-hand side. Okay, so they're going to be alternate exterior angles. Okay, alternate exterior if you want to simplify it. Okay, so now let's go down and look at what acute angles might be. Okay, so if we're looking at angle 3 and angle 6, okay, so we have angle 3 and angle 6. And if we ask ourselves again, are they on the inside of the parallel lines or on the outside of the parallel lines? We're going to say they're on the inside because they're both in between M and N. So they're interior angles. Okay, now we also need to say, are they alternate, so opposite sides, or are they on the same side of the transversal? And they're going to be alternating again. So alternate exterior angles. And I forgot an N. Let's Try that again. Alternate interior angles, because they're on the inside. Now let's look at angle 3 and angle 7. So we have angle 3 and angle 7. Okay? And if you ask yourself, are they on the inside of the parallel lines or on the outside? Again, it's going to be both. Okay? So they're going to be corresponding again. Okay, so those are some of the main angle relationships. Okay? Let's also hit on vertical angles. So if we said that angle 1 and angle 4 are vertical angles, those angles are across from each other. So they're going to be across from each other. And they're equal. Okay, so any angles that are across from each other and equal, so angle 1 equals angle 4, are vertical angles. So we have angle 1 listed as a vertical angle and angle 4 listed. Then we have also angle 3 and angle 2. But there's also some more down here, and let's list those really quick. So those are going to be angle 5, and across from angle 5 is angle 8. So angle 5 equals angle 8. And then angle 6, and across from that is angle 7. Okay, so those are going to be all your vertical angles, and those are equal. So let's move on to triangle angle sum. Okay, and triangle angle sum, all of that's saying is that all the angles in a triangle will add up to 180 degrees. So angle A plus angle B plus angle C equals 180 degrees. And all these little things right here are little angles. They aren't L's. Okay, so say angle A was, let's say it's 50 degrees. And let's say angle C was 60 degrees. Okay, so we can substitute angle A for 50. So angle B stays the same. If you want to drop that angle, you can. And then angle C would be 60 degrees. Okay, then we want to add these up right here, 50 and 60, and that gives us 110 plus B equals 180. Okay, now it's just a simple solving for a variable. So we're going to solve for B, which means we need to subtract 110 from both sides. And that means B equals 70 degrees. Okay? Now let's move on to the last thing here, and that is asking us which of these lines are parallel. So are any of these lines parallel? So we want to start looking at the degrees that they've given us here. So 71 and 60. Well, that isn't going to be anywhere close to our 180 that we want. Okay, so we want 2 degrees that add to 180. So let's try 71 and 112. So 71 plus 112, that's going to give us 1 plus 2 is 3, 7 plus 1 is 8. Uh-oh, and we went over. So it can't be 71 and 112. We need something smaller than 112. Well, 109 isn't that much smaller, but we don't need something that much smaller. So let's try 71 and 109. Don't know why my 1 is disappearing there. Okay, so then 9 plus 1 is 10. Carry that 1. 7 plus 1 is 8. And there we have it, 180 degrees. So we have 71, so that's going to be on line E, and 109, and that's on line C. So we know that E and C are parallel. Okay? So let's go down, flip over your page, and I'm going to help you get started on some of these problems here. Before you can take the quiz to regain those points for the test, you need to finish off these problems. So I'm going to help you do the first one in each of these categories. So the first question asks us to refer to the problem figure on the right and list an angle equal to each angle and the relationships, not repeating any of the relationships. So let's look at angle 1. So we're looking at angle 1 first. That's the first angle that's listed. And I know that that's an acute angle, and then I also see that angle 4 is an acute angle. So angle 4. Okay, so now I need to find their relationship. And I see, oh look, they're across from each other, aren't they? So those are going to be the vertical angles. So now you guys need to go through and list what angle 2 is equal, what angle 6 is equal, and what angle 5 is equal. And then make sure you list the angle relationship. So for angle 2, you can't just say angle 2 equals angle 3, because that angle relationship would be vertical angles again. So don't list angle 3 on that one. Okay, so let's move down to triangle angle sum here. Okay, so we know that all the angles add up to 180 degrees here. So we're going to do 40 plus 60 plus C equals 180. Okay? Then if we add 40 and 60, we get 100. Plus C equals 180. And then we're solving for C, so we want to subtract 100 from both sides. And that's going to give us C equals 80 degrees. So there's our answer right there, 80 degrees. Okay, so let's go down and review these, which lines are parallel. Okay, so we want these equal 180 degrees. We want two of these numbers equal to 180 degrees. So let's take a look. So we know 60 and 70 are going to be too small. That's going to be 130, and that's just too small. So let's take a look and see if, let's see, 70 seems like a good number. So let's look at 70 and 130. So 70 plus 130. Well, that's going to give us, oh, that's going to be too big. That's going to give, that should be a 1. That's going to give us 200. That's just too big. So we know, even if it's 60, that would be 190. That's just going to, 130 is just going to be too big. So it's not going to be 130. Okay, so now let's check and see if 70 plus 120, so 120 plus 70. Well, 7 plus 2 is 9. Oh, that's still too big. Okay, so we really have run out of space for our 70. We know it's not going to be the 60, so 70 is kind of out of the running. Okay, let's check 60 and 120, because those seem to be the only ones we have left. So 120 plus 60. Okay, so that's 0. Oh, look, that's promising. 6 plus 2 is 8. So there's our 120, or 180. So 60 plus 120. So that's going to be 60, and that's line C. And 120, that's line D. So C is parallel to D. Okay? So good luck finishing the rest of it, and let your teacher know when you're done.